My name is Ernesto Flores. I come from Spain and I work as a postdoctoral fellow in the pediatrics oncology department. Since I was young, I wanted to work in research, and I think like for many people who work in research, especially in cancer research, I think there is a lot of cases where there is reasons behind that. My best friend, when we were 18, was diagnosed with leukemia, and that was totally shocking because we're both very into sports and like not smoking, not like doing any like thing that could put at risk of developing cancer. And they said like he's gonna die in 1 month. It wasn't a month, but it was a year. So that made me think like I really want to like focus on leukemia research. So when I finished my PhD in Spain, I wanted to do more in vivo system studies for leukemia. So I look around throughout the world actually, and I really like the project at UCSF. So I was totally sold on the project. I didn't know the city. I didn't know like the group before, so I joined Dr. Kevin Shannon's lab, and that's how I came to UCSF. So we have a lot of stereotypes about the US and the Americans, of course, as people do about Spanish people, for instance. So one of the things like surprised me, like people were very friendly. Something that I was surprised because they said like, oh, in the US you cannot touch anyone, you cannot like talk to anyone, like. So that was like a very different experience, especially here in California and San Francisco in particular. The second thing is, I have to say the level of professionalism that they do about every aspect. This is a culture where if you're good, they help you to be better. And if you're better, they help you to be the best. This is a culture of the positive reinforcement. So you give a presentation, people come to you to say like, that was a great presentation, and I really like this, I really like that. Or if you say like, I would like to do this, and they say like, of course you can. And you should do it. It's a society that's focused on work, mainly on work. So during weekdays, you just work. And then for the weekend, you have many plans. But for the weekdays, people work and then they'll go home. It was hard at the beginning because I felt a little unbalanced in that way. And especially, I didn't have like, you come here, you don't have like friends, you don't have like family here. So during weekdays, you just work and go home. So, and you feel a little kind of like in a box. One of the things that surprised me is that people go to grab a coffee or a cup of tea and they take it with them and walk with it. And you sip through it, and then you don't sit inside the place. So I remember with people in my lab, I said like, oh, do you want to grab a tea? Like in mid-morning. And they said, sure. So we went to buy it and we came back right away. And then we just put it in the break room and then back to work. And then it's like, oh, I thought we were gonna sit to have a tea. So the other things, for instance, I went to like to have some food in one place, and then they ask you like, what do you want? And they want the answer right away. And there is like different type of bread and different type of cheese and different type of everything that they put. So it was a little stressful because I didn't know like what kind of bread do they have or anything. So and they felt a little upset with me, and people were lining up behind me. So I felt a little uncomfortable that first day. So for the next day, I kind of memorized what they have and what I wanted. So I was like really fast. It's hard to know the lingo that people use here, how to ask for everything. So at the beginning, I think, especially the language barrier, it's important. So you go to places you don't know how to ask for something, and people sometimes may get a little anxious if you don't know right away what you want. I think meeting people outside of work was something that took me a while, and that's probably one of the hardest part. That, together with understanding the, the language and the accent. With the language, I remember when I came and I was talking to my supervisor, I had to be looking at his lips because it was faster than I was used to. I had never been to the US before, so it was like very fast to me. He used some word that I didn't understand, and you start thinking of that word. And by the time you're thinking of that word, he continues talking. So then he laughs, and then you're like trying to laugh, and then you laugh like forcefully, like it looks like you're not, a big disconnection there. For me, I had a hard time understanding people, getting used to the accent. So even remember, like people ask me, "Do you take vitamins?" I was like thinking, vitamins? What that vitamins mean? So if it had been in British English, it would have been vitamins with the T were pronounced, but here it's like not 30, it's 30. To deal with the English like problems, what I did is I started watching TV. And for instance, Friends was a great resource for me because they were like young people using the colloquial words that you don't learn at school, but it's the one that people use here, and then you get used to the accent. So for the first weeks, I was just watching at night after work all chapters that I could about English. And the second thing that I did for that is to write down everything that I didn't understand. Meeting people, that's kind of the hardest part because everybody here have their families, their friends, they're established. So how do you meet people? You don't go to a cafe and start talking to people who's sitting at a table. So first I decided to take English classes to meet people, but of course there's no Americans in English classes. So they were mostly Russian and Asian. So I even remember like a Russian man who said like, Ernesto, this is not good for you. This is good for us. He was like 65 or something. You should go to do other things to meet young people. Like, yeah, no, but I'm learning. So he was right. So then after that, I decided to join the gym. But people in the gym go to the treadmill, put the iPod on, and they're running. So you do the same. So you don't talk to people. And then I like swimming. So swimming, you don't talk to anyone. So how can I meet people? So like 8 months after I had been here, I was very frustrated. What am I doing with my life? Well, all my friends and family are back in Spain, and I'm here by myself, just working. I heard about spinning classes. So then I went to ask for spinning classes, and the guy said like, oh yeah, we have spinning classes here, but I'm sorry, it's my shift turn right now, so my colleague is gonna tell you about those classes. So his colleague comes and he said like, so you were asking about salsa classes, right? I said, no, I was asking about the spinning classes, but do you have salsa classes? And he said, yes. So I took 3 classes that were okay, but they told me about a club where they have this salsa event. So I started going there, and that's where my social life started. So, and I started going every Tuesday when they had these classes, to like beginners classes, but it's very social. A lot of people go there, and it's for dancing. You, basically young people, you rotate, so you get to talk to many girls, and the girls to many guys. And I started going every Tuesday. And then I joined a salsa team. And that's where like I started like meeting people there who became my friends, and after that we'll go out to more salsa classes and events and places. Well, and after that, of course, you start getting more friends through different like common friends, but it's a good way to start. Trying to find social activities, either in your area or starting with UCSF. UCSF does many things for social, and that's a way of at least getting exposed to some of the activities that are out there, and then through those you start getting to know about others. Talk to people who have like probably same inclination as you, like same type of things, same outdoor stuff or indoors. For instance, I like hiking, so there is a lot of outdoor groups, do a lot of things, and then you will meet people who are like very similar to you. One thing that I would say is I consider that people get to know the American culture. So one big risk when you come is to get involved with just your community. So if you're Spanish, just hanging out with Spanish people. Because immediately you come and say like, oh, I know like a Spanish person in the second floor, or I know a Spanish person in this other building. So you just go with them. It's very easy, but you get kind of like limited by that. Whereas if you try to like expand and get to know the culture and do what Americans do, then you will get a full experience of what it's to be here. And at the end, you will get all kind of friends. So right now, my friends are out of American friends, out of European friends, out of Spanish friends. But I got to enjoy what it is, the American culture, and see what the Super Bowl is, watching it with them, and what Thanksgiving is, being with American families. Whereas if you just do it with like a very small group, you will lose a lot.